Hello, and welcome to Marriage Unchained, the art of one flesh, where saving marriages, saving families, and saving souls is the flavor of the day. Now, let's join our host and author of Marriage Unchained, Catholic Alpha Radical, Jerry Jacobs Jr.
Welcome to Catholic Alpha Radical Live, where I help you fix your Catholic marriage. I've coached and helped hundreds of men in their marriages, and now I want to help you. Call 313-RADICAL now. That's area code 313-RADICAL, and ask me anything on tough marital issues, such as what to do when she's asked for divorce, what to do when you have a mutual agreement of separation but you didn't want it, what to do when your wife is cold and distant, what to do when your wife is having an affair, what to do when your marriage is bad, boring, lukewarm, and passionless, what to do when you engage in a marital embrace less than once a month, what to do when you sleep in separate bedrooms, what to do when she has left the home with or without the children, what to do when you're divorced but didn't want it. Call 313-RADICAL. That's area code 313-723-4225. That's area code 313-723-4225. Again, call 313-RADICAL right now for answers to intimacy problems, communication problems, prayer and spiritual warfare problems, authentic masculinity problems, aka how to man up. So, sit back, relax, take a chill pill, and get ready to rock. But don't duck. Can you feel it? Catholic Alpha Radical coming at you now. Hello, and welcome to Catholic Alpha Radical Live. A Catholic relationship podcast that helps you fix your Catholic marriage Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, while also giving you winning tactics for marriage problems, girlfriend problems, and intimacy problems for men. Moreover, where my main mission is to keep you out of divorce court, and where Marriage Unchained, the art of one flesh, divorce combat coaching is the flavor of the day, while also helping men understand marriage and courting, not dating, in the Catholic faith. Why? Because dating is for sex and courting is for marriage. In this 77th episode, Menopause and the Marital Embrace, what every husband should know to reignite her desire. Plus live phone calls from you answering your marriage and crisis questions. So get that cue, 313-RADICAL, that's 313-723-4225, or you can call from your browser at callinstudio.com/radical1. Don't wait. Get in the queue now for some resolution to your marriage confusion. All right. Quote of the day. So, there we go. All right. So I was thinking I was going to be having a Wi-Fi problems today, but it looks like it's acting right. So we are here with the quote of the day. So let's do this. Quote: to be an infallible lover, the first thing you must recognize that sex is and must always be holy. It must make you holy. It must make your beloved holy. It must lead you to him who is holy. End quote. Gregory J. Popchak, PhD, Catholic marriage therapist and author. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me to help you in yours. Get live Catholic marriage help Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, for some resolution to your marriage confusion. So today we are going to get into it with the radical. We have a nice interview today, a good interview today with a special guest of mine. And so what we're going to do is going to do a nice little interview. But first, I'm going to set it up so that we understand exactly what we're talking about today. And again, we're going to talk about menopause because I get a lot of questions all the time from my guys, and we go very deep into menopausal women and what that does to the marriage, what that can do to the marital embrace, and what that can do to his wife's libido and all of that kind of stuff. So but the question is though, why should menopause be important to husbands? You know how men are, we don't care. Look, woman, I'm ready. You should be ready. Let's rock. Right? Well, in this case, that is not going to work at all. Another thing is too, you should be, as a husband, you should really try to know your wife's body. That's one of the things about learning the mysteries of your beloved. If you don't understand, like I tell men all the time, one of the things is if you have a wife and she can still have children, you should know when her menstrual cycle is. If you don't know, you're not doing your job, okay? Because women react differently around the days of when they're on their menstrual cycle. They react different. Their body reacts different. Their vagina acts different. Everything is different. And so you have to understand what that means when she's like, well, I'm not ready. I can't go tonight or something like that. Also, husbands should understand menopause, and it should be important to them to better understand what is going on when your wife is moody, irritable, and complains of depression, so that you can help her or be more patient with her. Also, if she complains about the pain of making love, some dudes think, well, they get used to get turned down so much, and women shouldn't do that. You shouldn't turn your husband down to make love unless you are in pain for real. The reason why is because it's like calling wolf, crying wolf. Well, I got a headache, or I don't feel like it, or I'm tired, and all that kind of stuff. Then he begins not to trust you and not to trust anything you say. Now, I talk a lot about men and their problems, but women have a lot of problems too. And that's one of those things where they won't be honest with their husband, and then he starts to resent her because he thinks that it's personal. We've got to understand how the marital embrace, how sex works. It's very intimate. It's a godlike act to be able to participate in procreation, and it's a very intimate thing. And a lot of times, especially when we don't have God in our lives or even God in our bedrooms, we get insulted very easily and hurt as a man and a woman, when our spouse turns us down to make love. Now, I don't know about you men out there, but this is what I've learned. It's okay for your wife to turn you down for sex, but if you ever turn her down, boy, all hell's gonna break loose. You cannot turn her down, can you? You can't. If you ever had that experience. Are you gay now? So another thing is that if her desire for intimacy is low or non-existent, if your wife now has a low libido, if her decision if her decision making is very emotional or irrational. So if your wife is making erratic and emotional decisions a lot, getting upset a lot, yelling and screaming, or like even avoiding and stuff like that, how her loss of hormones is affecting her. So menopause, basically what's going on with men when men lose control. So men lose their hormones when they lose control when making love. Most men don't really know that. That's why a man, his sexual drive will go down real fast if he ejaculates too much during the month. Another thing is that's what happens to women. So women in the menopause, that kind of thing happens. They're losing their hormones. And so hormones is what, drives their sex drive, drives their beauty and their vitality and everything. And so when that stuff starts to go, that's why I tell men, look, man, you got to be passionate about your wife. Because especially when she's in menopause and even when she's not, dude, you got to be the driving force, but you got to do it a certain way. Okay. Another thing is, the marriage problems menopause can cause. Menopause can cause a lot of marriage problems. If you don't understand what women, if you don't educate yourself on this, you're going to make dumb decisions. You're going to look up, you're going to leave your husband, you're going to divorce your husband, and 6 months or a year later, you're going to be like, what the heck did I do that for? Or when you start coming out of menopause, you're going to realize a lot of this stuff is not the way that you thought it was going to be. It's just like when women take contraception their whole life, or even a short period of time, and they pick the wrong dude to marry, because you pick different, and my wife can go into that too, but you pick the wrong. A lot of times, most times, women on menopause taking contraception, not menopause, women taking contraception, they will pick the wrong man to marry or the wrong man to date, because why? Contraception changes things in her body, and I don't know exactly what it changes, but our expert, I'm sure she can answer that. So another thing is too, having knowledge of menopause can help you as a husband learn how to deal with and support your wife in this stressful and mysterious time. Now, I don't know how long menopause lasts. I have a lot of questions from the person that I'm going to talk to about menopause, because I know a lot, but I don't know nearly as much as them. And so that is how we're going to do it. So after the break, we will go deeper into this mysterious concept. But hey, what do you think about menopause? Like, comment, go ahead and make a call, and we can take your call, because you know how I am. This is a call show, not a content show. And I was kicking myself yesterday. when the caller called in, and man, I put him on. I heard him. All of you guys heard, because I listened to the replay and the podcast. Everything was working, except on his end, he could not hear me. So one of the things that I want you to remember when you do call, if there is a mix-up or something, just call right back. Don't take stuff so personal. You know me, that this is very important to me. So the caller is the most important thing. So, try to take your ego out the way and try to have time. If you have to go to work or something like that, I'll take your call and then say, hey, Jerry, I'll take I'll take the answer off the air, because I got to go to work, or I got to do something else. Okay. So with that being said, let's go on a quick break. Bam. If you're getting value from this podcast and would like more personal marriage help, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an opportunity to work with me personally for free. Yes, within 30 days, learn how to become a better husband that attracts your wife back to you. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com and get a plan tailored specific to your marriage and situation. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me the chance to help you using my personal and gained experience. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior coaching for your marriage. Again, SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com. That's SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com to become the man God created you to be and the husband your wife needs. Lastly, I always get the question, why don't you help women? And I always answer them, I do. So, for all of you beloved wives out there that want to reignite that feeling of emotional closeness and complete love from your hubby, consider marriage coaching and visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an improved marriage within 30 days. All right. So today we have a special guest on, and my wife, Mary Kathleen, and she is going to help us go into some of the menopausal questions that I will have and things like that. And if you have any questions, please call in. If you have any comments you want to do, put them in the comment box. And other than that, so my wife, you've all heard a lot about her over the years. I've only interviewed her one time. That was a couple years ago. But if we, I would like to interview her now, because I talk about her a lot, and a lot of the guys are mysterious because I tell them all these funny stories about me and my wife and stuff, and all the guys be laughing. So it's good that we're going to talk to her today. My wife has done a lot of stuff. She's been on the pro life committees, did conferences. She's into the catechist programs and stuff like that. So she's very knowledgeable on the faith, and she's very knowledgeable in this subject because, well, she's going through it, and she's done a lot of she's done a lot of research on it, and so she is very knowledgeable on what we're going to talk about. So let me bring on my beloved wife, the love of my life, my heart and my soul, Mary Kathleen Jacobs. How you doing, baby?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Hey, fellas, if you hear a little stuff in the background, that's because me and my wife are kind of close. So try your best. I hope it doesn't hurt. It doesn't interfere with the podcast too bad. Okay. So that being said, babe, let's get started. Let's get started with the questions. So let's make it simple. Let's start out simple. What are the symptoms of menopause?
Well, your period begins to stop. um, Symptoms. Well, you're now I'm stuck because I'm not exactly sure how to. 10 minutes ago I could have answered this question perfectly, but
Okay, so pause. Okay, you gotta. Okay, look, babe, you can't look. My dudes,
they're all right. Everybody's
they
all right.
they cool. I know. So you gonna just go ahead and spit it out there. We're talking about sex. They know the deal. They know me. They know that. Listen, let's just get it out there. Let's just do it. They know what's up. All my fans, all my listeners, and all the
I,
guys on my program, we know what's up. So you just spit it out. Let's go. Come on. Let's
well,
rock.
your estrogen and progesterone kind of disappear. They don't disappear completely, but the female hormones die out, the ovaries dry up, and so those things were the kind of things that were kind of helping you keep a womanly figure. Believe it or not, keeping your weight down somewhat. I mean, because never underestimate the power of a hormone. I mean, once those hormones back off, you will experience weight gain. That's just how it is. Um, and then hot flashes and night sweats and um, getting dry and sometimes some women experience vaginal atrophy, and
So what's that? Mhm.
that's when everything gets smaller. I'm one of the unfortunate women that suffers that predicament. So everything gets smaller, and it's like your body is shutting down the fun. It's
So
like no more.
so when you say things get smaller, like what do you mean things get smaller?
Like the vulva, the vagina, every it slowly shrinks. Now I don't know how far it shrinks to. I don't think it
Mhm.
disappears, but it gets smaller, so it makes the marital embrace a lot more uncomfortable, especially if you experience a lot of dryness. Because if you're shrinking and you're dry, you're not wanting to be near your husband. I mean, it can be quite the challenge. Fortunately for me, I I have suffered some of the dryness, not as much as some of my friends. I have a friend that she didn't realize what was going on, and well, she had a hysterectomy, and her dumb doctor took out her ovaries, so she automatically went to menopause. There's nothing wrong with her ovaries. The doctor just, I don't know. I guess the doctor just decided. Well, she asked her, and she didn't know, if they could take them out. So I'm sure there's an extra charge for taking out the ovaries.
Yeah.
There's billing, but so once she recovered from her hysterectomy, and she and her husband went into the embrace, she said it felt like he had glass. He's putting sharp glass inside of her.
Wow.
I cannot imagine, and I have been afraid of stuff like that. I mean, that is horrid. and that doctor should be sued because the doctor knew, and even if the doctor told her, which I'm not sure, that she's going to experience menopause symptoms, she didn't tell her that.
Right. Right. So what in your experience and what you've, because you talked to all your friends and a lot of ladies about this on Facebook and stuff like that. So what to you, what and to them, what is the worst of the symptoms? Is it the hot flashes or the pain or what? What is the worst?
The loss of sex drive. That's the worst.
Really? You would think it
Especially
would
if
say
you
that.
especially if you're accustomed to having a good one, you know.
Yeah.
Especially if you're accustomed to having a strong one. I mean,
Mm.
I'll say for me, you don't even know it's gone away, really. I mean, you just be bopping through life, and sometimes you don't even realize that you have lost your sex drive. So until your husband's like, look, it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm like, really? It has? Who
Yeah. Yeah. And so that brings me to another question, like dudes getting upset.
knew? Yeah. Well,
So hey, I
sometimes
am
I
not
think
immune. I was not immune. I am way better now. But just to be, look, y'all, I'm a man too. And I ain't gonna lie, before I learned all this stuff, I'd get mad. I thought it was personal, you know. So
well,
talk, go ahead.
sometimes, like I said, a woman doesn't even know that it's happening. Um, when I was in perimenopause, and
So what's
that's when
perimenopause? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Mhm.
that's when the menopause is starting to start. That's when you start missing your periods, or you start having really heavy ones, and they go away. That's when things start getting wonky. Things are getting weird. So I was very outspoken when I go to the doctor because it was just weird. Because, I had a very regular period, and when things were going a little off and unexpected, that was very frustrating to me because my body acted normal. Well, normal for me, I knew what to expect. So when I were getting these unexpected symptoms, and I go to the doctor and talk about it, oh, you're in perimenopause. Like, oh, that's just what it is. I'm like, no, 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 no. Blah, 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 blah. So the doctor, well, especially when I was complaining about the embrace, the doctor said, oh, well, you might be experiencing vaginal atrophy. That's when things get smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And so she says, well, let me take a look. Brace yourself, people.
Uh-oh, fellas. I don't know if I wouldn't know if we's ready for this one, but go ahead, babe.
She looked and she goes, oh, yeah, it's kind of gray down there. I was like, oh, you're experiencing vaginal atrophy. What?
Oh, oh man.
And I'm like, what? She goes, well, you can buy this and you can buy that, to help you feel better when you're in the embrace and during everyday life. But that's what it is. I'm like, oh, nice to know. And so, like, my mom passed away when I was 24. And so I didn't have her to go to, to ask about this stuff, or not even to ask, but to learn about it because I just thought, your period stops and that's it. I had no clue, no idea. I had no reason to know what I might experience during menopause. But the symptoms, every woman, like every pregnancy is different. Even with you, like every pregnancy is different. I'm not saying that every woman is different, which is true, but childbirth, each child you have is different. If a woman has 8 kids, she can tell you 8 stories about her pregnancies. And with the menopause, every woman is different and every woman will experience different things. I remember talking to my doctor and I was complaining about the sex drive and she said, well, some women experience a higher sex drive than they had. I said, that's impossible. So I was kind of flip about it. I said, so if you used to have a strong sex drive, then you get a low one. And if you had a low one, you get a high one. That's not fair. And she's kind of laughed at me. But anyway, every woman is different. And sometimes you don't even realize, especially if you're really busy and focused on anything, focused on career, children. you experience these things, you kind of feel like you're going out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not even relate to it. You might relate it to um, your marriage. You might decide that, well, I don't feel this way, and so you'll blame your husband. Or if you have a problem child, which some people have, if you have a problem child that's causing all this havoc, sometimes you'll blame that child and drag the child to psychiatrists because
Wow.
you're not making a connection to what's going on with you to what's going on in your family situation or even at work. You might now I'm making it sound like women are loony, but we're not. Losing your hormones is very traumatic. It truly is. And sometimes if you in a bad work environment, you might blame, the people around you. You think your boss hates you and things like that. Um, I'm not trying to sound so chauvinistic or that women are weak or anything like that. I'm just saying that sometimes if you're not really in tune with what's going on with you, if you're with your sex hormones and your menopausal symptoms, if you don't really get down into it, you'll blame all these other outside forces of why you're feeling the way you do, feeling depressed and sad and unmotivated. Sometimes, you project those things on something else, when what it is your body's changing and you're not really in touch with it. And, so having a good gynecologist or someone to talk to, like a woman who's been through it,
Mm-hmm.
having kind of a mentor or someone that you can reach out to talk about what's going on can really help relieve, a lot of things that is going on and a lot of misunderstanding. But the thing is, it's hard to talk to women about this because women don't want to. I find women don't even want to talk about it. I mean, I try, especially like 5 or 6 years ago when I was really going through it. I was constantly looking for an opportunity to kind of jump in and ask questions about this thing. I was out to lunch with some relatives probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was like, you know, this is not fair. Y'all never talked about this stuff. I didn't know what I was going through. I didn't know what was going on. They're just all kind of looking at me like, woohoo,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of true because I was like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, what was going to happen or how to be. And one of my cousins says, "Oh, that must have been what I was going through," because she had a child that has challenges, and she just thought that the stress of trying to help him um, get his manage things. She's blamed all that. She just assumed that that's what that was. But what it was she's going through the change. She was going through menopause and didn't make that connection. And so I had this thing. Golden Girls is a lie. Golden Girls is a lie. Run around with all those boyfriends and stuff. It's a big lie on the American woman.
So, why? Um, how long does this menopause last?
Well, um, there's two ways to answer that question, I think. You never get your period back, so you're never pause. But the symptoms can last from 5 to 14 years.
Whoa.
Probably sometimes longer for some women. But yeah, they can last. The symptoms can last a long, long time, and sometimes they don't. Just everything is different.
So premenopause starts when we start getting
Uh,
symptoms and stuff.
well, is really perimenopause,
Mm-hmm.
and it depends on the woman. So it can start as early as 45, sometimes 35. I mean, it's just it's
So,
different. I
so
was in my
you
50s.
you saying us men we gotta suffer for like 20 years for this stuff? I mean, look, I'm a
If
sufferer.
you're
I don't mind
suffering,
suffering,
if you're
sacrifice,
suffering,
man.
if you're suffering, just think how I feel.
I understand. Well, I guess I don't understand, but what I'm
You
saying
know,
is, like, all the
you
men want
know.
to know, like, okay, how long is she gonna be tripping like this?
Yeah, 14 years, 15 years.
So
Suck it up,
this is why.
Buttercup.
So this is why. So this is why, man. I be telling you, you got to watch your woman and learn how she is, and learn about this stuff. Cause look, 14, 15 years, you got to be dealing with this. So that's what I'm saying. You got to learn how to deal with it so you can make it better.
Yes, make it better. Make it better.
Um, why don't women share their experiences with menopause with each other?
I'm not sure. I mean, because
Because
I guess.
I'm gonna tell you this real quick. I was going over. I have a keyword research that I do to like to make to get people that people mostly search for, so that when I put the keyword up, people are searching for that, and then this podcast to come up. I'm telling you, it was slim pickings. So women don't talk about it, and it ain't that prevalent. I mean, as far as it's bad and what it happens to everybody, but it's not
Mhm.
like people don't try to solve it because they don't. Because like you said, they're not talking about it. So why do you think they don't?
Well, it's not a happy subject. It's not a good subject. It's not a fun subject. It's not a sexy subject. It's not
Yeah.
a groovy subject. It's a dull subject. It's a sad subject. I've listened to menopause podcasts, and I have a couple of books on the subject because I'm just trying to I'm just trying to make it.
Right. That's right. I just trying to make it.
So
So,
I've been on a quest, and it's not something we want to talk about. I mean, it's terrible.
but if
Now
y'all don't,
I
if you don't talk
understand that
about
once
it, how
it's
you gonna fix it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You
Okay.
can't fix it. It can't be fixed. You can feel better and get some relief and some support and, have a good outlook on life. But you got to
Mm.
even know that I mean, you're going through menopause, but sometimes you don't even know the deep down problems, symptoms that occur when you lose your progesterone and estrogen.
Mm. So, in your opinion, why should husbands understand about this stuff, issues about this? Why should men try to understand? I told them my reasons, but what do you think?
Well, I don't know. I guess the woman has to understand it first to educate her husband. I mean, a man can't really know if she doesn't tell him. So
Hmm.
it's a tricky, delicate. It's a delicate thing, because I mean we've heard all our lives. Oh, she's going through. Oh, she must be on her period. That's why she's acting all crazy.
Hmm.
Or PMS, she got PMS. Well, it's not a nice thing to say, even though it could be true.
Could be true.
It could be true, but saying that doesn't help. I mean, you tell a woman, oh, you must be on your period, or you got PMS. You ready? You better get ready for a fight.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
true or
learned
not
not to
true.
say that one.
And the same thing is true for the menopause. Oh, she's going through the change. Okay, put on your boxing gloves, brother, because we about to go down. It's about to happen.
See, y'all be thinking Jerry got it all together. See, I told y'all all the stuff I talk to y'all about, I do too. I don't be playing. Hey, I like my life.
But if a man could be sensitive and understanding and kind of you know know that she's not necessarily attacking him, even though she might be attacking him because he said the wrong thing.
Hmm.
Learn not to say the wrong thing. I mean, everything in your head doesn't need to come out of your mouth. But you know, I don't know. I'm not saying walk on eggshells, but even open up and see if she'd like to talk about it. And she may not, what
And
she's
that's
going through.
the problem with dudes. See, we especially if a man, okay, so especially if a man's not having that much sex with their wife as it is, or if she's mad at him or something like that, like we don't really want to rock the boat. Like, okay, if I start talking about stuff, then she ain't gonna want to have sex with me at all. I'm only barely getting it as it is now. So they don't know. We don't know what to say, what to talk. So
Well, I think,
we play it safe. We play it safe. Like we just won't talk about it at all. And that, of course, that's a big problem.
yeah, yeah. Well, well, you're unusual in that you always want to talk. You're always open to talking.
Hey, because the marital embrace is important to me. I'm gonna get to the root of the tutor. I'm not gonna sit back and wait.
Where did you come from?
That's right. I'm a Jacobs. That's right.
To investigate the investigation of the investigated.
That's right. I'm gonna find the answer to the problem.
But I think if men could, um, I mean, I know compassion may not be their strong suit, but if they would, periodically, ask their wives if there's something they'd like to talk about, and you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at what you'd hear, and you might feel attacked and beat up and all that other stuff. But I think that if men would every now, not even say what the subject is, not say, "Oh, you want to talk about menopause" or anything like that. Just make a habit. Is there anything on your mind? Is there anything you'd like to talk about? Well, she's going to say no, especially if she's not feeling well. But if you catch her in a happy mood or a gentler time, cooking dinner or on the way to mass or something like that, just ask her if there's anything on her mind, and she'll say no. And anytime you like to talk, I'm something gentle like that. And then she might just decide, oh, she's ready to talk about the kids or the car needs fixing or whatever. But you know, I'm not really sure how to get into this question
Well, the
because
way I do,
I can't get women to talk to me about it, and I'm in it. We're in it together. I don't want to talk about it.
yeah. Well, what I do is I try to get the guys to like open up and talk about their stuff to get the wife to talk.
Mhm.
And then other thing too is, like when they learn something, like a good way to do is like, look, I saw this YouTube video, or I was talking to this guy, or I was talking to this lady, and we talked about menopause, and I was learning all this stuff, and I'm thinking, man, are you going through that too? Like, what do you think about it? Oh man, she'll talk all day then.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good icebreaker.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, and then women, and then if they another thing too, if they think that you're gonna like yell back at them or something like that, and they're used to shutting down, then it's a lot harder to get them to talk. But next question is, how can menopause cause marriage problems?
Well, it depends on if your marriage is already on shaky ground and you're losing your estrogen and your progesterone and things are changing around you, um, that any changes can make a marriage tough. And if your marriage isn't well grounded, to have a good foundation, anything can rattle. Anything can shake it. I have a friend whose mom years ago was going through the change. That's what they called it back then, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with her. And her husband wasn't a perfect man by any means, but they were married. And she kicked him out and wanted the kids out because the kid was acting up. The kid was a teenager, and it was a girl. And mothers and daughters kind of have a tension sometimes. And then the husband, like I said, he wasn't ever a perfect husband, but they managed to stay together for some years. And she just went off on everybody. She just somebody had crossed the line one too many times, and that was it. Everybody was gone. You know.
Wow. So that leads into the next question of like women making drastic decisions during this time.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
go like, you know what I mean? Like drastic decisions like, okay, I'm gonna leave my husband, I'm gonna put the kids up for adoption. you know, it's all about me. I've got to, my happiness means everything, that kind of stuff.
well, the thing is, you start, when you start menopause, you're a mature woman. So you've had, you've had set ways. You've had, maybe a career. You have your house, your husband, your kids. Your life is settled more or less, I should say. But sometimes, if you're in a bad marriage, you'll put up with some things, right? But then after a while, you may decide, okay, if he continues to be this way or whatever, you know, I'm, start plotting and planning to get out of the marriage. I don't think I don't have many divorced friends, but I don't think any woman just wakes up one morning and decides she's divorcing her husband.
No, they
It's a
don't.
it's a it's a plotting and planning thing that a man doesn't know about because he's focused on other stuff. And he looks at her, she's okay, she's the same as she was yesterday, but no, she's not the same
Oh,
she
I
was
love that.
yesterday.
I love that.
Mm-mm.
Because that's exactly how we are too. Well, she looks like she did yesterday. Everything must be okay.
Well, as you often say, that's a rookie mistake.
Exactly.
No woman is the same as she was yesterday, no matter if she's in menopause or pregnant or whatever. We're not the same. Well, we go up and down. We change. We have four sons and a daughter, and I'm telling you, all my sons are the same. They're the same as they were when they were little. They're the same. My daughter, not so much.
Nah.
Lots of changes, lots of changes. And she takes a lot after her mother, lots of changes. One day I'm into a butterfly garden, and the next thing I'm trying to grow these tomatoes, and the next thing I'm deep in my catechism and, learning all this stuff about the faith. And, it's just, I'm all over the place, as we say.
So let's
So,
talk. Okay.
no, no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, how does being in menopause change the desire for intimacy? Because that's the core of it. That's like the core of what's going on.
Well, you're losing your sex hormones. And so the big drive, which is reproduction, I mean, you get these sex hormones so that you're reproducing. So once the reproduction shuts down, your hormones, so the desire to do what helped you reproduce, it just goes away. It just, and you may not even realize. I remember hearing a lady, she was shacking up with her boyfriend, and she was like, she's putting him out. The poor guy had no clue. We all knew
Hmm.
in the office what was happening, but she didn't even tell him. Well, she didn't know. I mean, she was in perimenopause, right? And she was going on and on and on about, well, I don't feel the way about him that I used to. The feeling just isn't there. And I didn't know, But I did tell her because I don't know why people talk to me because I tell them what's on my mind. I don't have a filter almost. I told her that he still loved her. I don't know. I don't believe in shacking up. And I think it's very bad. But anyway, harmful to children, harmful to women. Women suffer from shacking up. But anyway, I told her that because she didn't feel the same way, because I knew what that feel was. The feel was desire, the sexual desire. I told her I didn't think it was fair to him because he hadn't done anything. I didn't think it was fair to him that she was treating him that way because she didn't feel a certain way anymore. And so she just, oh, Mary's crazy. But the thing about feelings is they are not facts. Feelings are not facts, Dr. Laura. Feelings are feelings. And they're important. But you really need to analyze and, talk to somebody who is unbiased if you can, because if you talk to your friends, they're all, you don't feel like that about him no more. You need another man. You need something different.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So
And,
go ahead.
well, and you don't need another man. One man is plenty.
We
One
sure
man is
are.
plenty.
We sure are plenty. That's right.
You don't need keep the one you got, brush him off
That's
a little bit.
that is that is of course so correct, Mrs. Jacobs. So look, so I'm gonna ask you this question. 'Cause I didn't ask you this one, but this is a kind of because this made me think of it about the intimacy thing. So, what do you think about this new trend going around? And it kind of started in the SSPX in the Catholic world, kind of started over there about women they got this thing where I can't reproduce anymore, so I'm not going to have sex with my husband anymore. I don't have to have sex with you. It's not a mortal sin anymore. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, it is a mortal sin too, because when you're married, the wife has total rights over the husband's body, and the husband has total rights over the wife's body. That's just how it is. And we are all called to carry our crosses, and it's a suffering and sacrifice thing. And you just have to really get down in your faith and do what's good and loving for your husband. Now, the husband has to, learn to adjust, and you can't do things the way you used to, because that stuff hurts.
I know I tried, man. It don't work. I mean, you don't like jump around in the legs no more. It ain't cool, man. I don't like that. No, I'm just playing.
No, no more spinning around. That's over.
You know, no more Superman and Lois Lane. Oh, dang, man, that's messed up.
So the husband really has to be gentle. Let his wife know, we're going to be gentle.
Hmm.
Take it easy. You know, because your wife is precious to you, and you don't want to hurt her. And the
Hmm.
wife has to be more understanding of what her husband's needs are, because his needs, trust me, ladies, have not changed.
Hey, that's how a Christian soldier rolls, baby. That's right. Well, you know what I
So,
think it is. Oh, go ahead.
well, we just have to come together. I mean, a lot of people, I don't know what a lot of people do, so I shouldn't say that. But you don't really talk about sex, you just kind of do it.
Yeah, that's true.
And, you just have to be open and aware of what's happening, and try and come to a compromise of how it's going to be.
Hmm.
You know.
So I think what I the conclusion is, well, I know this is the fact. The reason women are doing that, well, I can't have babies no more, so I'm not gonna have sex with my husband and stuff like that, is because they don't understand what marriage is for.
Well,
They don't
also,
understand their faith. They don't.
also too, if your sex life has been a chore, it's one of those things I got to check out. I got to do the laundry, I got to cook the dinner. Oh, it's Wednesday, got to have sex.
Man, guys, when I start telling my guys that, they could not believe it. Like, your wife, dude, this is why you got to prepare her to make love. You can't just come home and say, let's go in the bedroom, blah, blah, blah. You can't do that, because if you do, she going to be laying there going, well, I got to cook dinner. I got to go work. I got to get ready for work tomorrow. I got to make sure the kids are doing okay, help with their homework. I got to do the bills. She's sitting there thinking about everything but making love to you. This is why you can't just run home. And hey, I'm telling y'all, it took a long time for a brother to learn that one. You got to know it's not personal. You have to prepare. You have to prepare your wife for your love. You have to. So let's go over what marriage is for real quick. So marriage is for this. Number one, marriage is for procreation. God has given you the God part of his God-like ability and gift to procreate and have babies. So you should be proud of that. Why does God do that? Because his ultimate plan is to what? Have as many souls back to him in heaven. Okay.
Mhm.
Number two, the reason for the marriage is the formation and education of the children. So what does that mean? That doesn't mean learn how to be a lawyer. That doesn't learn how to be an astronaut or a brain surgeon. That means education and formation in the faith, in the Catholic faith, the Christian faith. That's what that means. Okay. Why? Because if you don't teach your kids about God and what that means and educate them in, they will be stupid. They won't understand how to make decisions. They'll go out here in the world and fall for anything. They need the wisdom of God so they know how to think logically and to combat the world. Okay. Number three, and far, far down the line, the reason for marriage is number three is for the union of the spouses. That's way far, far down the line, though. The reason why is because God wants us to, because we are supposed to set the example for marriage. We are supposed to, as married couples, we're supposed to represent Christ, the Holy Family, Jesus, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph in the Holy Family. And so if we're going around getting divorced and getting annulments and not doing what we're supposed to do, we're not holding hands, we don't take walks together, we don't make love, we don't kiss each other, we don't kiss each other in front of our kids, and our kids don't see what kind of great couple we are, and they're not going to want to be like us. They're not going to want to be like us. And so if you're not making love, ladies, to your husband, he's going to get resentful. You're going to get resentful. The emotional connection is going to go away. And then guess what? You're going to want to leave, and divorce is going to happen. And then all your kids, all your friends, all your church members are going to look at you too and go, they're miserable. And that is not what God would have for you. That right there is the reason for marriage. And if most people knew that, they would understand that sex is just not sex. It's never just sex. Okay, that's why we talk about it. What do you think, babe? Don't get me started.
I think you're right, but you know the thing about sex, the marital embrace, is the bonding. You know, it helps the bond. It helps the marital bond.
That's right. And that's why I say it's the second most important thing in marriage. God and prayer is number one. Sex is number two. Because you need the emotional connection. Ladies, that's why you want to leave your husband, because, well, he's probably a bad lover. But that ain't all his fault. That ain't all his fault. In his defense. It's not. It's not all our fault. Look, nobody teaches us about sex, man. They just go, oh, you know what, your parent, everybody, oh, you'll figure it out. No, you don't figure it out. You just kind of go. You just kind of go along, you know, hey, you know, you got 10 kids. Okay, I guess I was doing something right.
Well,
but the thing about it is the wife has to enjoy it too. That's why we have to learn how to be world-class lovers for God and our wife, because so that our wife enjoys the marital embrace too. And then she's not going, well, I got a headache. I got to go work. I'm tired.
You know, your father years ago said to me one day, well, Mary, what if you have a headache? I said, well, it's not my head he wants.
That's right. That's right. He probably had no comeback for that one.
He laughed.
Yep. So real quick, we talked a little bit. So let's talk more about, can menopause cause depression?
Yeah.
How is that so?
I don't know. It just does. I mean, you lose your happy hormones. I mean, that'll make anybody depressed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you're not connected and know that that's what's going on. You know, because the act of the marital embrace, believe it or not, you may not realize it, ladies, but even if you do not climax, you do get some antidepressant benefits from that act. You just do. And if you are losing your sexy hormones and you're not participating in the marital embrace, you're just doubling up on being miserable.
So I'm going to back that up with men. So here's the thing. Men, it's the same thing. It just happens different in women. So depression is caused, first off, by your diet. If you have a crappy diet, that causes a lot of depression. Like if you're eating a lot of sugars, carbohydrates, over-the-counter processed foods, over-the-counter medications, prescribed medications, that can cause depression and cause your body to start to break down. Well, not can, it will. It causes mental issues too while we're talking about it. Your diet. Your diet's everything. But hormones in men and women, she's right. So women, like she just said, depression is caused through one of the things is when women lose their hormones. In men, our our hormones are contained in our semen. So this is why when you hear me say, fellas, that if you are losing control too much when you're making, then what's happening is you're losing your hormones, which takes your sex drive, which causes depression. Okay, because energy, like electricity in our body is really energy, right? And so that makes us feel happy and makes us feel alive and makes us feel vigorous. Well, when we lose our hormones, just like she said with women, we start losing our hormones, it causes a depression state because we don't have the amount of energy that we have. That's why we take stimulants like coffee and tea and energy drinks and stuff like that. So now, real quick, we got 6 minutes left. Let's talk about some solutions. So one of the solutions for women is I want you to talk about the solutions that you know about, and then we'll talk about my solutions. So one of the solutions is hormonal replacement therapy and other things. So can you talk about that stuff real quick? Some solutions to helping the symptoms better in menopause or things that can bring hormones back for women and to get their sex drive back and stuff like that.
Okay, well, everything's personalized, so each
Right.
girl is different.
Yep.
I was on hormone replacement therapy for a year, and it helped a lot with the hot flashes. It did a lot for my mood, which then made which made the marital embrace better. I was more ready for it. Now my drive never really came back. It just increased somewhat, that I noticed. Well, the turn of the new year, my insurance changed, and I wasn't able to get the same hormone replacement therapy. So I needed to get in touch with my insurance company and go through all this business. And I thought, you know what? Forget it. Forget it. I have a sweet husband, and I can offer my hot flashes up, which I do.
Hmm.
And I've started reading books on menopause and how to relieve symptoms. And the big thing is, I mean, it's just to limit carbohydrates, limit sugars, limit junk. You know, you don't feel good on the junk anyway, but and you don't know that you don't feel good on the junk until you stop eating the junk. Eating real whole foods, staying away from grains and staying away from pastas. I am not perfect in that for sure, but I do my best most of the time. I work at a restaurant, and sometimes the temptation of the bread that's around is a little tough to resist. But I have been eating whole foods long enough that I can tell the difference in my mood when I do eat carbs. So that you about to say something?
Well, I thought you were almost done with that part. I was going to ask a
Oh
question
yeah,
because people
yeah.
say people say that their hormone replacement therapy can cause cancer,
Well, that's a there's a risk, but the risk is very low.
like
And if you have
1%.
a family,
Mm-hmm.
it's down there. It's down there. I'm not exactly sure, but when I was contemplating using hormone replacement therapy, because by the time I decided to use hormone replacement therapy, I have been in this for 4 to 5 years, and the doctor wasn't even sure it was going to work because I didn't start soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
But and that probably was part of the reason. Well, anyway, so you just have to. I mean, so I considered it, and I went for it, and I did it, and then once I couldn't. Once my medication went from $25 a month to $463 a month,
Woo!
I thought, you
Hey,
know
y'all, Jerry ain't got it like that.
what? I'm like, do I really need this drug? I mean, how many more ribeye steaks and chicken can I buy with four hundred
For
sixty
real.
dollars a month? That will help me
So
feel better.
what I've heard,
Salad.
what I've heard is that hormone replacement therapy for women, in men it causes a lot of problems, but for women, it's a myth that it causes cancer. So just to put it out there,
It's not a myth.
do
It
your
can.
do you, uh, the studies that I heard, the lady was saying, and the menopausal lady, she said that it's a myth. But like I always say, go and do your own research and make your own
Oh,
mind. Is it important to
yeah.
you? You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, because when they first started hormone replacement therapy, they were giving too many hormones. They were giving it too much. The estrogen levels and progesterone levels were too high. But the pharmaceutical companies have managed to bring things down, you know. But the thing about menopause too is you have an increase of cardiovascular disease. You do experience women do experience more heart attacks.
Oh, when menopause?
Yeah.
Oh man. Boy, y'all got issues, man. You know what though? I always say my whole life, something always wrong with women, man. Some always hurting.
Oh,
Some always don't feel right.
because we got
Always sick.
we got to live with you guys.
So, so okay. So let me go. I got well. Now I'm almost out of time, but I'm gonna because I promised. So what I'm gonna do is give other more natural ways of fixing, helping with menopausal women. Okay. The first thing is you got to understand that you're right. Sex is not on your wife's mind per se. So the first thing you got to understand is you got to put love on her mind. So remember that song, Let Me Put Love on Your Mind. You got to take it to heart, fellas. You got to take it to heart. So what that means is intimacy outside the bedroom. You got to hug her and kiss her, have conversations. You got to take walks. You got to sit next to her. You got to hold her hand. You got to do all these things to get her sex on her mind. But that is not going to bring back the desire. But that will let her know that you love her and you care about her. And then that will implore her to say, okay, I guess I'll give him some tonight. Okay. So that's how it works, y'all.
Well, hot tubs and bubble baths work too.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted. But the good thing is this once your wife gets into the actual act of making love in the bedroom, then all her desire comes back. It's not like it, I mean, it's not like, okay, things are still, it's not 100%, but
Thank
it's
you.
almost like normal. Like you as a man can arouse her drive again, her sexual drive again. But see, as with always, you got to do the work to get her in there. So that's the great thing about this is that yes, outside the bedroom, your wife is not thinking about sex, but you can help with that, right? I just told you that part. The second part is once you do get inside the bedroom, the desire does come, her desire for you to make love, all that stuff comes back. Now look, this is the part y'all don't know that you probably gonna not gonna like me for. The other thing is you have to learn to prolong the sex act so that your wife has a good time. So, what is a good time for a woman? It's one word orgasms. Okay. That's what that means. That's what a good time for a woman is. So, you have to prolong the sex act so that your wife will, like, okay, the last time was good. So this time will be good too. You guys, you have to understand how the system works. It is a system. And if you don't use the system, you're gonna think that your wife doesn't care, that she doesn't want to have sex with you, that she doesn't want to, be near you. Oh, that's not true. That's not true at all. It's just that you got to understand, and this is, and listen, this is the same, and really the same principle holds true for your a wife that still can have children. It's the same. It's the same system. It's just that you with menopausal women, you have to work a little harder to get them, well, a lot harder to get them to enjoy, to get into the bedroom, to want to make love, to put it on their mind, so they go, oh, okay, yeah, I do kind of want to be near my husband, and blah blah blah. But once you get in there, the pudding's in the proof. You've got to be a great lover. The proof's in the pudding. You got to be a great lover. And so I hate to say it, but you have to be taught how to do that because most men in the world do not know that because why? 75% of men are premature ejaculators, and 90% of women never have a fulfilling climax when they make love. 90%. So this lets you know what the deal is. Okay. So with that being said, babe, I am so glad, so glad. If you guys have any questions or comments or calls, you can call. You can always put a comment in the thing. Oh man, darn. Clint asked a question. I didn't see it. I almost didn't see it. So it says, um, my wife had breast cancer and they say she can't get hormone replacement as it has a high risk of bringing back the cancer. Yeah, I could see that. Because, it's like, once you have cancer, you know how it is. It's easier to come back and stuff like that. Great comment, Clint. I like that. But see, as always, Jerry has the answer. He can help you. I just told you what the answer was, dog. You don't need no hormones, baby. You don't need no hormonal treatment. You just got to be a great lover. That's what it's about. Trump card.
Yes.
So that being said, if you have any questions, you can email me at radicalquestions@catholicalpha.com. That's radicalquestions@catholicalpha.com. Or you can always put a comment in here like Mr. Clint did. Or as usual, what I really want you guys to do is call. We didn't have any calls today. Well, me and Mary did a lot of talking too, so I understand. But babe, I want to thank you so much for coming on. That was fun, and I knew you was gonna help the fellas. The fellas probably really like you now. They gonna really mess with me now. But I'm very glad that you came on. You were very informative and very helpful. And this makes me want to start. This is kind of the catalyst to me starting interviewing again, because I know everybody gets tired of me talking every day. So
Well, thanks for having me on. I had a good time.
okay, all right, babe. Thank you.
Adios.
If you're getting value from this podcast and would like more personal marriage help, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an opportunity to work with me personally for free. Yes, within 30 days, learn how to become a better husband that attracts your wife back to you. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com and get a plan tailored specific to your marriage and situation. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me the chance to help you using my personal and gained experience. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior coaching for your marriage. Again, SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com. That's SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com to become the man God created you to be and the husband your wife needs. Lastly, I always get the question, why don't you help women? And I always answer them, I do. So, for all of you beloved wives out there that want to reignite that feeling of emotional closeness and complete love from your hubby, consider marriage coaching and visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an improved marriage within 30 days. Okay, so I want to clear up something real quick, just to be clear, because I think I didn't go far enough. So with the way to prolong the sex act. So when I say prolong the sex act, your wife needs 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes is not enough. So as a man, you have to learn how to prolong the sex act, the marital embrace, for at least an hour to 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, depending on how much pain and inhibitions that your wife has and trauma that your wife has been over through the years. But that the main thing is you've got to learn how to get to at least an hour. Because why? Because women, their body isn't even ready, especially menopausal women. Their body isn't even ready for 20 minutes. So when you're in the bedroom and you're making love and you're actually in the middle of the act, if you lose your control as a man in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 or 20 minutes, your wife hasn't even, her body, she's not even warmed up yet. She's not even ready yet. So this is why it's important that you understand, as a man, one of the ways to become a great lover is to understand how to prolong the sex session. Now, at first, your wife is going to fight it because she thinks this is where, she thinks that, well, I'm okay, but as the man, you got to understand she's not okay. And so you have to kind of push past that. But usually women, once they understand that they're going to have that the mental embrace is going to be beneficial for them, they're going to have a good time, they're going to love you more, you're going to love her more, you're going to be near God more and be in bliss more, she will help you to prolong the session. Okay, so I want to make sure that I really explain that. When I say prolong the sex session, I don't mean 10 minutes. Jerry, because Jerry said, if I can, 5 minutes is really good. No, 5 minutes ain't good, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And the more you and your wife connect, and more blissful that your wife is, the more, even a woman in menopause, the more she will want to make love to you. The more the emotional connection will happen. This is why sex is the second most important thing in your marriage. If you're not having sex at the minimum once a week with your wife, eventually you will have an excuse of not to have sex at all, and then enter us to a sexless marriage, and then guess what? It's over. Without sex, people always say, oh, well, we can still be married and not have sex. That's hooey. That's crazy. That's complete ignorance. Yeah, you're gonna be married, but are you gonna be happy? Are you gonna have a great, passionate, loving, emotional, and connected marriage? Are you gonna you're gonna love each other more and more and more every year? Of course you aren't. You're just gonna be surviving. And that's not what God wants for our marriages, okay? So this is why we have to educate ourselves, okay? So that being said, we are done for the day. Thank you all so much for showing up. Man, you guys are good. Y'all need to start calling, though, because this is a calling show. But I usually get a call every day, so I'm not complaining. But I want as many calls as I can get. Eventually, I want the show to run completely on calls, where I talk for like 5 minutes, but all the rest of the show is got people calling in, men, women, I don't even care. Because I created this show, me and my wife want to help people. And the way you help people is you talk to them. So the more 5 days a week, if I can talk to as many people as I can, if I get 3, 4, 5 calls a show, hey, that's pretty good. I'll be here 2 hours if I got people that'll call. I will. The only reason I end the show at an hour and 10, 15 minutes is because, well, I don't want to talk for 2 hours. I really don't. But I do like doing content and helping you men improve your marriages, and ladies too. So anyway, that being said, as we always do, we end with a quote from Pope Benedict XVI, which states, "Society offers you comfort, but you weren't made for comfort. You were made for greatness. So go forth, Christian soldier. The spiritual fight is up on you. Fast, pray, and prepare for battle." Thank you for listening in today. If what you heard helped you in any way and you would like more personal attention, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior marriage coaching. And remember to join the Catholic Alpha Radical Live podcast as a caller or listener every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. To join as a caller, dial area code 313-RADICAL. To join as a listener or view the live stream, visit the Catholic Alpha Radical Live Facebook page or visit CatholicAlpha.com for Catholic marriage help that actually works. Bam.